Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope that you are doing so very well. As you can probably tell, I have gotten new lighting. It looks so great, so wonderful. I still have quite a few videos that I filmed with my old lighting. It'll switch back and forth for a while until we get into all new lighting, just so you're aware. I love it so much. I feel super professional filming like this with like umbrella lights and everything. I am professional. Today I'm bringing you my October wrap up.
Wrapping up them books, doing some stuff, yeah.
I read 7 books in the month of October, which is pretty great. My month was a little bit crazy, especially at work, so I didn't read as much as I would have liked to, but like I said, 7 is still a lot of books. And without further ado, let's discuss them books. The first book that I read this month was The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. I got this from the library, which is really great, but I didn't really enjoy it, which is not super great. I know a lot of people really love this series, but I just don't think it was for me. I liked the characters, alright. I really liked the main character, Leah, and her female friendships with her best friend and the ladies that she lives with. All of that was fantastic. Most of the relationship building was really, really great. The world building didn't do it for me. Just didn't work a lot of time and it was really slow to build. There's one major plot aspect of this book that I hated. Basically, there are these 2 guys that are after Leah and you know what their roles are, and then you know names of 2 guys, but you don't know who is who until a good part of the way through the book. So there's this whole mysterious aspect of that, and for me that did not work. It was interesting and intriguing for the first part of the book, but then we just like kept going with it and I was like, this is just getting really frustrating. I just am like so annoyed that I don't know. It just felt really unnecessary. It was intriguing for the first part of it, but it just went on for way too long. And the big reveal, I just didn't care for it. I was like, whatever. I called it, which probably didn't help because I was like, I know. The last 100 pages of this book bored me to death. I had to force myself to pick it up and to keep going, and I was just like, when is this gonna be over? I just need it to be done. It wasn't for me, so sorry. A lot of people love it, I know, but I did not. I gave this a 2.5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read was 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Contrasted with The Kiss of Deception, I freaking loved 6 of Crows. There was a lot of really good world building in the different areas that you don't see in the Grisha trilogy. You really felt like you were there, felt like you were in the story. The characters were phenomenal and all of the relationship building in this book was phenomenal. And then the plot was also really great. It was all just great. Everything is great. Everything is amazing. Heist books with great characters. Give them all to me. I will take all of them. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read was Library of Souls by Ransom Riggs. This was the last book in the Miss Peregrine's Children trilogy and I really enjoyed it as a final book. It was a really satisfying ending. It took me a little bit to get into this book. It took a little bit to like get it going for me, but then I got really invested and really into it and then I just finished it really fast. You can't help but love the characters in this book. They're just so great and you get so attached to them. I love it so much. The ending made me really, really emotional. I may have, you know, teared up a little bit. I tear up at everything though, so that's not really a surprise. It was a really, really great close to the trilogy, and I really enjoyed reading it. I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read was definitely something that I was peer pressured into reading, and that is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. Even though I was pressured into reading this, I am very glad that I did. If you don't know, this is fan fiction that is written by Kath in Fangirl. It's really enjoyable, and Watford and this world are really interesting. Even though you don't have a base knowledge of this world, it's still really easy to get into it. It did so well being a 7th book in a series that nobody has read. You still got a feel for the characters and the story and the world. Even though we haven't experienced any of it, you still got that attached to the characters like if you were reading the 7th book of a series. And even though it's technically fanfiction of the 7th book of the series, it counts. It counts. We've got 2 gay characters in this. They are the main characters. I feel like most people already know that, but I want to tell you guys that in case you didn't. We got some good representation up in this book. One other thing I want to touch on is the magic system in this book. It was so different from anything I've ever read and I really liked it a lot. I would love to see the rest of the books in the Simon Snow series. Like, can we have those please? Because I need them. Overall, just really great. So great. I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It wasn't quite a 5-star for me, but it was really, really dang close. I'm not as obsessed with it as everyone else is, but I really enjoyed it. The next book that I read was The Diviners by Libba Bray. One thing I do want to say before you read this book, don't don't freaking read it at night, because I did a lot of my reading of this at night and it was a mistake. I enjoyed this, but I had some issues with it. I loved the writing in this book. It's beautifully written. Everything is incredibly descriptive, and the writing of different scenes was really like well done, and I just wanted to read more of different scenes even though they creeped me out. I was like, yes, so good, so beautifully written. I really loved the characters a lot. I loved Evie as a character so much. Plot, very scary, but also very good. The issues I had with this are not issues that everyone is going to have. A lot of them stem from the fact that I'm a Christian. A lot of the paranormal stuff ventured really close to like a paranormal activity kind of scale, which for me is really real, like really realistic. I personally believe that that stuff really happens, that demons are real. I've heard countless stories from people of realities of that. I just was like, I can't, no, not about it, not about this life. The religion, paranormal activity aspect of this, I did not enjoy. Like I said, that's not gonna be everybody, but that's just me personally why I didn't love this book. Just wanted to throw that out there, put that out there. I went on a little rambling spree on Goodreads, and you can read that if you want to. So parts of it were really great, but parts I just didn't enjoy. I gave this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read was Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. I freaking loved this book. Anne of Green Gables will probably be in my top 10 favorite books now. It was incredible, so good. Anne is such a feisty, great character. She's always questioning, always talking. Reminds me of when I was a little redheaded girl with a temper and a mouth that would not shut up. She's so dramatic about everything, but she's also like so positive and so optimistic about everything, and it's just fantastic. I love her so much as a character. All of the characters in this book are so great. Diana, Marilla, Matthew, all of the side characters all had great personalities and great roles to play in this book. It's just so well done and so well written, and the descriptions of everything were great, and I could just talk about this book all day because I loved it so much. Hit me right in the feels. As you can probably guess, I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. And the last book that I read was Unnatural Creatures, short stories selected by Neil Gaiman, and I enjoyed this a lot. I actually finished this today. It's November 1st, so we're not gonna worry about it. We're putting it on the wrap up because I don't want to wait to talk about it. Basically, these are just stories of unnatural creatures in any kind of way. There's griffins, there's unicorns, there's mermaids, there's werewolves, there's any kind of unnatural creature you can imagine. I enjoyed a lot of these stories. Most I would say I either gave a 4 or a 5 out of 5 stars. I can't really like talk about plot points of each one, but I will say the ones that I liked the best, which were Prismatica and The Smile on the Face. Those were my 2 favorites. Prismatica just felt like a complete story, but like in a short story format. It read like a whole book. There were even like chapters and stuff. It was so great. And The Smile on the Face was very like feminist. I loved it so much. It was so great. Overall, really enjoyed the stories in this book. And that's it. That is my wrap up. That's all the books that I read this month. I hope that you enjoyed that. It was a pretty good reading month for me. I liked most of these books that I read. There were just a few duds in there. Let me know down below if you read a new release this month and what new release it was and what you thought about it. And if you didn't, let me know your favorite book you read this month. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye. But we gotta live. If you read it, you know. You know.
Is it too late now for sorry? 'Cause I'm more than just your body.
Was I don't agree with you.